Hello lovelies, welcome back to Lifestyle Chapter. If today's your first time of seeing this channel, I welcome you to the family and please subscribe. If you're already here, I'm happy to have you back. Today I'm going to share with you a simple recipe that is quick to make and is the spicy plantain cake or Ofam. We also call it Brodo in Ghana. So these are the spices that I'm going to use for the recipe and also our over ripened plantains. So lovelies, let's get started. I'm going to start preparing the spices for the recipe. I have my onions that I'm chopping into smaller pieces. I'll cut them into smaller pieces because I'll be using my processor. I'm done chopping it, so I'll put it on the plate and then move on to the other ingredient. That is the shallot. I'll chop all of those also into smaller sizes. And the shallot is going to give the recipe more flavor. That is why I added shallots. It's optional. If you want to, you can use it. If you don't want, that is fine. You can just use your onions and you're good. So I'll add that to the onions that I chopped. And now I'm working on the fresh ginger. I'm trying to slice that into pieces as well. And then I have some cloves of garlic, which I'm working on that, chopping that as well for the spices. Here I have 2 Habanero peppers. You can add more if you want. It's according to your preference. If you want your Brodo or your spicy plantain cake to be more spicy, you can add more habanero peppers. And also I have half Fresno chili peppers. That is also spicy. I'm adding that also to it. I'm making sure I take off all the seeds. I don't need any seeds in that, so I've taken off all the seeds and I'm cutting that as well into smaller sizes. Now I'll add everything onto the plate. And then move on to my spring onions or green onions. This is optional as well. If you don't want to add that, that is good. You don't need to. I just wanted it to get more flavor and more tasty. That's why I'm using this ingredient, but it is optional. So I'm cutting the white part of it and then the green part separately, which I'll be using the green part later for a garnish for the cake. So I will use the white part. I will just add the white part of it to the ingredient I'm going to process. And then the green part, I will set it aside. To that, I'm going to add these colorful bell peppers that I want to add to the spicy plantain cake to give it some color and some attractiveness. That is why I'm using these 3 colorful bell peppers. So I'm cutting all of it into smaller sizes. And I will use that later on the mixture. And I'll continue working on the red bell pepper. And as you can see, I was using half of each of the bell peppers for this recipe. I'll make sure I put all the ingredients and the measurements in the description box below. So I'm cutting this also into smaller pieces, which I'll use later on for the recipe. So now it is all done. So now I have here the vegetables ready to be processed. You can either use a processor or the earthenware, that is the apotoyuwa or the eta for this process. But today I decided to use my processor that I haven't used. I have bought it for a long time and I haven't used. I'm gonna try it with this recipe today. So I'm putting in all the vegetables. It looks to be very small in size, so I'm going to divide the vegetables into two parts, first batch and the second batch, and I'm going to process it in. So I added just a little bit of water so the blades of the processor can move freely. As you can see, it is processing nicely and it's all done. So I'll pour it into a bowl. And look at how the texture is looking. That is how I want it to be. I don't want it to be too smooth. I want my spicy plantain cake to have this texture. So that is why I'm using the processor for that. But you can also make it smooth if that is what you prefer. So that is the second batch that has gone into it, and now it's done and it's coming out. So these are all the peppers that is being processed with a food processor. And I have it here. I've just added in some salt to give it a taste. And then these are the over ripened plantain that we are using for this recipe. So lovelies, remember not to throw away your plantains when they get to this stage. It is still good that you can use this to make or prepare recipes that you will love. And that is exactly what we are doing today, because I had this plantains there and it has been there for weeks. I don't want to throw it away. Sometimes you feel like it's getting rotten, but it's not. So you can, if you have plantains that have been there for a very long time and they look black, please don't throw them away. You can use them to make this recipe and you will love it. So I have about 8 pieces of over-ripened plantain that I'm peeling off, and I have washed it before peeling it off. So I have it mashed with my masher. You can use your potoyowa, or you have a masher, you can use it to mash it. And then I have added in the spicy pepper that I prepared with the processor. I'm adding more spicy sauce to it because I want the mixture to be spicy. So I'm stirring everything up nicely. And then to that, I'm adding in about a cup of corn flour. You can either use corn flour or any flour of your choice. You are good. That is what I'm using for this recipe. It is a roasted corn flour that I used. And then I have here some palm oil. Either you use in palm oil or you can substitute it to be coconut oil. You're good to go with that too. If you don't have palm oil, you don't know where to get palm oil, I know you can get palm oil from the African market, but if you don't want that, you can as well use coconut oil and you still get great results. So that is what I'm working on. I'm mixing everything up together. And also with the plantain, you can blend it in the blender as well. If you don't have a masher, you can just blend it and you are good. So here, these are the ingredients, the vegetables, bell peppers that I cut. I've added it to the mixture and I'm mixing everything up together, including the scallions. And look at how it's the color of the recipe is looking so beautiful and attractive already. So we are all set. I have my baking pan ready, and as you can see, I'm brushing in with some palm oil. If you don't have palm oil, you can use coconut oil to brush it in to prevent it from sticking in the pan. And now I'm adding in the mixture, the plantain mixture. And the secret ingredient in this recipe is my hard-boiled egg. You can add in a boiled egg, it's optional, but I decided to add in my boiled egg. I just sliced it into two and I've put it in there. So it's going to be in the middle of the mixture, and I'm covering it with some of the plantain mixture. And lovelies, I tell you, you will love this if you should try it. So this is it. I'm going to put this in the oven for 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. And this is how it's looking. It is all done, and look how beautiful the plantain cake is. And I'm going to turn it over. Look how gorgeous it's looking on the board. And lovelies, it is smelling so great over here. I'm turning it over, and at this point you can leave it to cool for about 10 to 15 minutes and you can start serving yourselves. So here I'm going to cut the plantain cake into slices, and it's just going in smoothly like a hot knife through butter. You can see how hot it is with vapor coming out of it. And you can see the egg over there that is looking so beautiful in there, lovelies. So this is how our spicy plantain cake was made. And lovelies, as you can see, I'm enjoying myself. So I'll urge you to try this recipe and send me comments down below. This recipe can also be enjoyed with peanut, cashew nut, or peanut butter, and you love it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.